We've talked in previous meditations about stress response. But think about what happens in our day-to-day lives when we experience anything. We hear tragic news, or we hear of somebody winning the lottery, or perhaps we ourselves fall in love or come across some windfall. Sometimes it's watching a movie or listening to a song. These things can all have buttons that get pressed. Some of them pleasant, some of them unpleasant. And for most of us, we tend to want to experience the pleasantness and push away or avoid the unpleasant emotions. But there may be good reason to not do that. When you're ready, move to the next slide. By avoiding negative emotions, pretending that they don't exist or suppressing them, you really are just putting it away, and at some point you still have to deal with it. Much like somebody who uses medication or alcohol to suppress or deal with the strong negative emotions that they're feeling, it temporarily may help. But eventually you have to deal with this emotion that you've just suppressed and you put it away. It hasn't gone anywhere. In fact, if you continue to suppress these emotions using the same tools, this can lead to some addictive behaviors. It's basically putting things off. Over time, this avoidance almost becomes a prison. And people start to constrict more and more. They become almost paralyzed with fear. And after a while, you start to even wonder why. They forget why this happened, why this began. When you're ready, move to the next slide. One of the major problems with avoiding negative emotions is that the more we do it, the more negative energy we give it. We actually become very fearful of it. This strong emotion it starts to kind of creep into our psyche and tells us that there's something very dangerous about this emotion. When you're ready, move to the next slide. Eventually, avoiding our emotions or thoughts or feelings, can actually create anxiety. And suddenly, the avoidance becomes so significant that we fear it so much that we can actually develop panic attacks. We can imagine anything that hasn't happened, and we often go wild with negative, catastrophic scenarios. In reality, these things never really usually happen the way they think they're going to if we face the emotion. When you're ready, move to the next slide. Throughout your day, you're going to experience a wide range of emotions. You may wake up feeling one way, and a few minutes later have a cup of coffee, feel a different way. You may hear something bad on the news, changes the way you feel. We need to begin to just accept that our days are filled with a spectrum of emotions. And when we start to feel something bad, it's not about turning away from it. It's accepting that it's there. This is not bad. While the negative emotions may not be fun, they're not going to kill you. In fact, what they do is they give you perspective. When you start feeling sad, the benefit of it is that you know this won't last forever. And soon you'll start to feel happy again. And this sometimes can happen in minutes, maybe hours. But no emotion stays in any one point forever. When you're ready, move to the next slide. We're now going to begin a 5-minute meditation. And this meditation is about experiencing a negative emotion that perhaps you've been suppressing. To begin with, get into a comfortable and upright position. Place your hands in a symmetrical position and your feet flat on the floor. At the sound of the bell, begin to close your eyes as I guide you into this meditation. At the sound of the double bell, the 5-minute meditation will come to a close. Begin to focus on your breathing. Start to notice where it is that you breathe. Does your breath move your shoulders? Does it move your ribs? Does it move your belly? Begin to notice everything around you. Notice sounds. Notice the temperature of the room. Notice the surface on which you're sitting. When you breathe, sometimes it's helpful to think about your breath like an ocean wave. As you breathe in, the wave comes up the shore. As you breathe out, the wave recedes from the shore. Inhaling, the wave comes up. And exhaling, the wave retreats back. Start to think about an emotion that you may be avoiding. Maybe it's an emotion you regularly want to avoid. Is it loneliness? Perhaps sadness? Maybe it's pain. By avoiding this emotion, know that you've, in fact, given it more energy. The avoidance has treated it like it's a dangerous thing. Take a moment and think about that ocean breath. And whatever that emotion is, again, whether it's pain or sadness or loneliness, begin to breathe into it. If it's physical pain, you'll know where it is. If it's emotional pain, such as sadness or loneliness, it often has a source too. Maybe it's in your heart. Begin to take that ocean breath and just breathe into it. As you breathe into these feelings, just notice that it's okay. You may even notice as you breathe into it that it changes a little bit. You can decrease its intensity and just soften the edges around it. You can begin to bring your awareness now to other people in the world. Maybe it's friends or family, but just anyone. All of us experience negative emotions. Start to think about the emotions that they too may be avoiding. Some people are fearful. Sometimes they're lonely, sad. Begin to breathe in to these people, even if you don't know them. And as you breathe, you can almost imagine that the whole world is breathing like an ocean. As you do this, we can have empathy for other people who are also sometimes suppressing these emotions. By turning to face our emotions, we realize they're maybe not as scary as we thought they were. But important to note that it allows us to see that they can change. By not avoiding it and facing it, you actually take away the power. Note Emotions always come and go. At the sound of the bell, allow this meditation to come to a close and return feeling optimistic and hopeful with an understanding that everything changes.